Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Too Faced Glitter Bomb palette. I actually mentioned this palette right here in my second anti-haul. So if you have not seen my anti-hauls, they are videos where I talk about products that I'm not interested in buying. But it just so happens Too Faced sent me this palette as well as a bunch of other new releases in an amazing PR box. But I did tell you in my anti-haul that if I ended up receiving this palette, I would still give it my good, honest review for you guys because I know there are a lot of you who want to know how I would actually feel about this palette if I used it. So I've been playing around with this palette for a little while now. If you follow me on Snapchat, you might have seen my initial thoughts on this palette. But basically in this video, I'm going to give you my pros and cons, my honest opinion, and hopefully you guys can figure out if you need it in your life or not. So if you guys want to see my review on this palette, then give this video a thumbs up and just keep on watching. So first off, this palette does cost $45. It's pretty pricey for what it is. I did tell you guys that this is not something that I would purchase on my own. I wouldn't really go out and buy something like this. It reminds me a lot of the Urban Decay Moon Dust palette, I believe it was called. I swatched it in store and I just really didn't understand it. I still kind of don't understand this concept. So I am going to tell you about my experience with this palette, and I'm also going to tell you how you can make it work. So firstly, my experience so far, other than my method that I will share with you, has been kind of bad. I have tried to use this palette in a couple different ways. Too Faced does suggest that you use their glitter glue primer before placing these onto your eyes, which I agree with. You're going to need some type of primer. But one thing I want you guys to know is even though on the back of this palette it says Prismatic Glitter Eyeshadow Palette, I don't treat this like an eyeshadow palette. I treat this more like a palette of fine glitters. If you look at it like that, you will be less disappointed than if you're like me and you're looking for something with a nice base to it but also is glittery, kind of like a foiled eyeshadow. It's not like that to me. I feel like there are better options on the market. This is definitely more along the lines of a very finely milled, loose glitter, not very much pigment in the back of it, just glitter basically, which I know it's marketed as, so I just want you guys to keep that in mind. It's really kind of hard to work with this just by itself. You're going to need other eyeshadows in your look, so this is not an all-in-one. I'm sure you guys don't think that it is, but I'm just putting that out there. Now the outside packaging of this palette is so beautiful. Each of the letters in this palette actually have glitter inside them that moves up and down when you move the palette. So I think the packaging is absolutely stunning. Also the PR packaging that this came in was insane. It's one of the most insane and generous packages that I have ever received. So even though this doesn't really float my boat all too well, I still really appreciate when a brand puts that much work into their products and their PR packaging and even their regular packaging, so I really do appreciate this. When you open this up, you will see that you get a brightening base and an intensifying base and 8 colors that are kind of like a glittery dust, so keep that in mind. So if you do use the brightening base, which is essentially a white eyeshadow, you'll get a little bit of a lighter and brighter look. If you use the intensifying base, it will make your eye look a little bit more dark. Now I did find that some of these are super pigmented and some of them are not so pigmented. I'm going to go ahead and insert a clip of swatches under the artificial lighting. If you were in artificial lighting, say at work or inside a building, it's going to look like this. And then I'm going to turn my ring light off and show you the glitters underneath flash. So this is what these would look like if you were in a dimly lit situation, if you were at a club or a party or something like that. So I actually tried out 2 looks during the week with this palette. The first one I used the Rosé All Day glitter. It's the pretty rose gold glitter. And then the second one I used this Work It copper glitter. So basically what I want to tell you guys is that when you layer these up, they tend to look really cakey. They kind of chunk off. It's not a cute look. So using these in a way that is intended with the glitter glue packed all over your lid, blend something into the crease, like the typical look, I don't think that these work very well for. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you exactly how I think these would work nicely. They definitely work better in an artistry setting, not so much in a day-to-day setting. So say you're doing someone's makeup for a wedding or a prom and you wanted a really fine glitter dust, this is the product for you. So if you like that extra finishing touch, you're going to like this, but that's exactly what this is to me. It's a finisher. So this is kind of like a top coat for your eyeshadow. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you on my eyes today exactly how I would prefer to use this eyeshadow palette, and then we will wrap up this video and hopefully you guys will be able to make a better decision for yourself whether or not you think that you need this in your life. So I am zooming you guys in and I'm going to explain to you exactly how I prefer to use this eyeshadow. So first off, I prefer to use this with an all matte eyeshadow look. So a nice deep transition shade in the crease, something in the outer corner, just all matte. So I am going to use the Too Faced glitter glue that is recommended to use with this eyeshadow palette. If you have any kind of glitter primer, I would suggest using it. I'm just going to take a tiny bit of this. I'm going to spread it evenly between two fingers, and I'm just going to tap this into the inner third of my eye. So the normal lid space where you'd want a pop of glitter or shimmer, I'm going to place it right in my lid space. So I'm just going to tap this on, not disturbing the eyeshadow that is already there. You barely need anything to make these stick. I think with this neutral eye look, I'm going to go in with Rosé All Day. It is a very pretty rosy glitter. So here is what Rosé All Day looks like with a finger swatch. I'm actually going to pick this up with a shader brush. This is the Sigma short shader brush. Anything that is kind of like a packer, or you can even use your finger if you use a very light touch. You don't need a lot. Once you start layering these, that's when things go wrong. You just want one nice sheer coat of glitter. Now again, with this artificial lighting, it's going to be very hard to see this. It is a finishing tool for sure, unless you use one of the shades that has a little bit more of base. Like this Work It shade has a bit more base behind it. If you want to work it around, you can probably make it work. But other than that, I really do think that all of these are very good for an eyeshadow topper. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to turn my ring light off and I'm going to turn my flash on with my phone so you guys can see what this glitter looks like if you are out at night. So here you can kind of see exactly what it looks like, a very sheer coat of glitter. That is what I feel like this performs best as. So my final thoughts on this palette honestly are that you could find this type of product probably somewhere else. I don't really feel like you need to spend $45 on it. As much as I appreciate this being sent to me, I have to stay honest with you guys. This is not something that I would spend $45 on. Do I think I can get some beautiful looks out of it? Absolutely. I've been playing around with it. I do like this topper kind of look, but I don't feel like that's a necessity in my collection at least. But if you like that look, I really feel like that's the way to use this palette. So create a really beautiful matte eye look and then pop this into the inner third of your eye. It would be absolutely stunning. What I would probably do, and what I probably will do, is do a matte purple look and incorporate maybe these purple glitters the same way that I showed you. So I really hope that this made sense to you guys. It's not a love product, it's also not a hate product. It's somewhere in the middle, so I did want to share my pros and cons of this palette. If you have any more questions, go ahead and leave them down below for me. If you have any suggestions on how to use this palette for anybody, then go ahead and leave those down below. If you have this palette and you found a way to use it that is better than mine, then feel free to let me know down in the comments. I'm very open to anything, you guys. I'm not saying that this is a horrible product. I'm just saying it took a little bit more work than I expected, and I'm hoping that you guys understand not every product is for everyone, but I do think that this has potential, like I said. If you guys found this video to be helpful, if you want to see more reviews from me, then please give this video a like for me. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and you'll be able to see my new videos from me. I put out new videos every single week. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. I hope that you guys enjoyed this review, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye.